Hello again, everyone. So in the previous class, we have already discussed about a few of the SQL command or the structured query language command. Fine, like the create command and for creating a new table, the insert command for inserting values or data into a table, and we have also learned about the select command. We have learned about some two to three option of the select command, where you can display the entire table in a command. Fine, for example, okay, I'll use this here. Select start from teacher. I'll run this. Fine. And then what you see here at the bottom, you see the output of this. I have also shown you how to display the content of only a specific row. Fine. And you can also display the content of only selected column from a table. Fine. So in today's class, we will continue with few more command. But before checking for any of this command, what you will learn is what I will be showing you as well. We are already here inside the database college. Fine, I'm using the same database what I have been showing from before. So what I want to do now is I want to actually make sure, find what are the content, what are the list of tables that is stored or that is available inside the database college. So because of that, I am using the show command here. Show tables. This means that display all the list of tables that is in the database college. Fine. So this is what I'll be doing. I'll run and here, every command, this is one separate command. This is another command. Fine, every command is separated with a semicolon. So if a command is of more than one line, so this is what we have here. So unless there is a command is terminated with a semicolon, the computer here will not take that as the end of the command. Only when it come across a semicolon, then it'll treat that as the end of the command. Fine, so here, this is a second command to display all the list of table. I'll run this command here. And then what you see here at the bottom, demo, student and teacher. These are the list of tables that is there in the database college. So tables in college. The database name here is college and these are the list of table. Now, okay, the next concept that we will be learning today is to delete the content from a table. Deleting the content here can be either the first one that I've included here, where you can drop the content of where you can drop the entire table itself. I mean, you can delete the entire table itself. Fine. So here initially we have demo, student, and teacher are the list of table. So what I'll do here is I wanted say because of some reason I don't need this particular table anymore. The table demo. So I wanted to delete it. You don't want when you are working with a database, you don't want any data that are actually not necessary. So because of that, you have to delete all those unnecessary or unwanted data. So in this case, say because of some reason I don't need this table demo anymore, so what I'll do is I want to delete it. So to delete the entire table, the command is drop table followed by the table name. I'll run this. Fine. After running this, I just want to confirm whether this table has been deleted or not. So I will use the show table again to see what are the tables that are available now. I'll run the show table. And if you see here, before there were three tables, demo, student and teacher. Now it is only, we are left with only student and teacher. The reason is because we have deleted the table demo. Fine. So this is how your demo, your drop table work. This is for deleting the table. Fine, you can write the syntax side by side. Fine, this is for deleting the table. Now other than deleting table, say I wanted to delete only a specific row. Fine, so for doing that, let me first see what is the content of this table exactly. Select start from teacher. I want to see what exactly is the content of teacher. So in here, this is what I have. I have ID, name and address as the three different field. And I have this ID number. I wanted to use this. See here properly. I have the ID 11. Name is AA. And the address here is Joy. So what I want to do is I want to delete this entire row. I don't want to delete the entire table. I want to delete only this row. And this row here is called as a record. The record for ID 11 with the name AA and with the address Joy. So for deleting the entire row, this is the command here. Delete from teacher. That means I have to mention definitely the table name that I want to delete the content. When I want to delete the teacher here, where ID is equal to 11. So the entire column here, where ID is equal to 11, that means this one here. Sorry, this entire row here will be deleted. Fine, I'll run this command first. After that, I'll see whether the changes have been made or not in my table. So I'll select start from table again and see what is the content of the table now. Okay, initially there were an 11, right? So because I have mentioned this delete from teacher where id is equal to 11, so the entire row was deleted. So this is when you want to delete the entire row or the entire record. Remember, row is referred to as a record. I want to delete the entire record. Okay, now that is how you delete it. Now what happens is if I want to delete a specific column, so because of some reason I don't want a particular column anymore. Right? For example, in this particular case, I don't want the column address anymore. So what do I do? How do I delete it? I cannot use the drop table. I cannot use this option here. So what I want to do is I don't want to delete the entire row also. I have this option here, alter. Alter is when you want to make changes to your table. So I include the alter table command and then followed by the table name. Table name here is teacher. Fine. Alter table teacher. That means I want to make some changes, some modification here. Fine. In the table teacher. And what is the changes that I want to make here? I want to now drop the column address. We have the address field right here at the bottom. So I want to drop that address column. So this is a command that we are using. Let me run this command. After that, fine, I will use the select star from teacher again to see the content of the table now. In order to make sure that the changes have been made. See here, before there were ID, name and address. Now using this command, I have already dropped the column address. Once this column has been dropped, that means the entire column has been dropped from the table. We no longer have it. So, okay, so that is how you delete the content from a table. You can delete the entire table, you can delete the entire column, or you can delete the entire row. Fine, using this command. Okay, so moving to the next one here is when I want to make changes to my table. The first one that I've included here is what happen if because of some reason there was some data, there was some field, I mean column that I have forget or have missed out to include from the beginning when I was creating the table. So even later on, what happens is when the need arises, when the situation arises, and when you need to add more column into the table, you can do that easily. So in order to for us to include new column into a table, what do we do is we have the alter command. The same thing, alter table followed by the table name always. Fine. And what do you want to do here with this alter command? I want to, before here you want to drop, right? In this case, I am mentioning that I want to add a column and then you mention the column name, that means the field name. I want to add a column department, DEPT I have written in short, and the domain for this is a VARCHAR. I want to add a new column department. You can even mention before or after which one. Fine, but as for now, okay, let me just include it. By default, it come at the end of the, that means after name. So I'll run this table here, I'll run this command. Fine, and then I'll check for the content. Select start from table. From teacher here is where I want to check the list of the table. Okay, so do you see this department here? Since I've not inserted any value so far, fine, so this is null for now. Fine, I'll be inserting a value but later. And so for now it's ID, name, and this is new column that have been added using the add column command. Fine, using the add column command, we have added the column department. And what type of data are we storing there? We will be storing some varying character. Fine, with a total length of at least 20 character. Okay, so that is regarding that. Other than that, what you can do is say if because of some reason, fine, here initially this ID here, its domain name is integer. That's why I'm storing integer number here 22 and 44. But because of some reason, fine, if you want to make changes to this alter table teacher, you want to make changes to the column, you can also do that. Fine, using the command modify. Modify, what do you want to modify here? You mentioned that you want to modify the column ID, fine, to character. So whatever was the default value now, whatever was the previous value, that will be changed to character. I'll just run this, fine, and then fine, I'll display the content of the table again. And let me display the content of a table. Let me bring this select here. From here, let's bring it somewhere in the center. Fine, because I'll be needing it over and over again. So let me bring it here. Fine, so I'll run this command, select star from teacher to see what exactly has been implemented here. Fine. So far nothing. I mean, I have already made the changes, but now this 22 and 44, what we have here, this will be treated as a character now. Fine, it'll be treated as a character. But actually, I don't want that because there are some other changes that I have already made here. So I'll change this character back to its integer form. And I'm changing it back to its integer form. Because there are many data that I've already sent which is dependent on this. Fine, so that is the example of how you can modify the domain name of a particular field. ID was integer. Suppose if you want to change it to a date or any other thing, you can easily do that. Okay. Next here is where I want to see before I have created a department. Right, I have created a department running this table again. This is what I have here. This is what I have created, but the department here is still empty. I have not filled any value. So what we can do here is, in order to insert values into this, remember you cannot use the insert option. Insert option, you use it one time at the beginning when you want to insert the content for the entire row. Here we don't want it for the entire row. We want it only for a specific column, only for the department. So because of that, what we have is we have the update command here. Update here, update the table teacher. Fine. Which one you want to update? I want to update the table teacher here. What do I want to update? I want to set here department equal to commerce. I want to set this value, that means to commerce. Fine. In the department field, I want to set this value commerce, where this ID here is equal to 44. That means here in this ID 44, I want to send the department commerce. Right. So for now it is null, right? So let me run this. After running it, I'll see the update whether it has been made or not using the select star from teacher. Select star from teacher will display the list of the entire table, the content of the table. So this is what we have here now. See, with ID 44, I have already set the department to commerce. Likewise, you can set the department for the some other department, maybe for name Jane and for the ID 22. That is not it. By using this update command, you can also make changes to an already existing value. It's not that you are adding only new value here. And you can also make changes to an already existing value. For example, what I want to do say here is to a data which have ID 44. That means 44 is this. The name here is XY initially. What do I want to do now is to XY. I want to make some changes. I want to update the name from XY to, in this particular case, I want to update it to Mary. So I can also easily do that. I want to update the table teacher by setting up the new name equal to Mary now. Fine, if I set name equal to Mary, if I don't mention this, that means every name here will be set to Mary. Fine, but I don't want that to happen. I want to set this name equal to Mary only where the ID number is equal to 44. Remember, if I conclude it only here, fine, the entire name will be set to Mary. But I don't want that. I want to set the name equal to Mary only for ID number 44. So I'll run this now. Fine, after running it, I'll use the select option, the select command again, this one here. Fine, I'll run this and see whether the changes have been made or not. Fine, so this is what we are doing here. Fine, updating the new data or the new content into a table. Fine, so this is what you have learned. You have learned how to delete data from a table, either row wise or column wise or maybe the entire table. You have also included command here for altering, for making changes, for altering, for updating, or for modifying data from an already existing table. So use the alter command if you want to make changes into an already existing table. Update is when you want to make any update. Fine, you are not altering anything, but you are making some update either by changing the previous name, already existing name, to some other name, or maybe by updating a new value to a null value. Fine, initially whatever was null, you can update this. Right, so this is where we'll stop for today. Okay, thank you very much everyone.